your face. 24/7, 24/7.
What's up, yo? Please click the subscribe button, all right? Yeah, hit the subscribe button, please. Hit it. Do it right now. Right now. Let's do it.
Say my name to define mass media and it is defined. I am Martin, journalist to the core, a broadcaster if it's real. I am Martin, the film director. I am Martin, producer. Secretly call me metal or mobile TV, call me metal. Follow me as the lyrical killer. People could call me Papoa. Whenever I look at the sky from here, I think the most side was cool.
Thanks. Alarm clock. Yes, so it's about time. Yes, it's about time for, ombudsmanship. It's about time to cause social change, and when we are talking about things like this, social change, ombudsmanship, the role the fourth realm is supposed to play. You have to go. You are talking about street report on Ebon and the 103.5 FM. Some disasters can be averted, and when we look at the ones we have around us, do you think we can prevent flooding from happening in the first place? Good evening and welcome to another wonderful spirit and knowledge filled edition of Street Report on Ebona the 103.5 FM. Oh, Mo, Martin, Epan Shuku Eki, Zieza number the first, the one that I call Metal. You have to go, I have to go. And of course, we are here to cause social change, massively. Really, in those places that it seems maybe difficult or impossible, here we are to cause that social change. Now it's about time for the ombudsmanship factor to play out properly the way it ought to. Yes, it's time for street reports on Ebon 5 FM. Anyone father on Ebon, right? You should know that. Yes, let's get down to business real quick. If I balutati you have to go. We are talking about flooding, disaster. How can we fix it? Like nobody so like I got tala so that we don't sideline anybody. So that's why I need to hear in that manner, So let's get down to business. This kind of disasters. This one is natural. Then some could happen maybe because of what do you call it? Maybe because of not being careful. Some happen like that too. So we are here today to talk about disaster. We are looking at flooding. We are looking at fire disaster as well. Because we are onto ember months now. Very soon, like last year, we begin to hear some mishaps in some areas. Okay, that's the reason why we are here today. Let's talk about it on time so that it will be prevented. That nobody, everybody will be careful about things. So that when it happens naturally, then we'll now say, okay, what do? We start finding a remedy. But the ones we can prevent, we are here today to talk about them so that we prevent them on time. You have to go. That's the essence. Street report on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. But the major thing today remains, is there a way we could prevent flooding to happen in the first place? Why I'm saying this, because in the wake of the ones that is happening around us, we heard from the governor of Delta State talking about uh, uh, Ifeanyi Okowa, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, what he said about it, that he suggested to the federal government to, to dredge rivers, and when rivers, when they are dredged, that distance will reduce. So, what do you think? Do you think there is something that could be done to prevent flooding in our, in our location today in Nigeria, basically? Disasters, irrespective of uh, your preferred language. The report I have for you today will show you like what disaster really mean, how it is, how devastating it can be, you know. Eh. But meanwhile, before we get down and talk about this deeper, and then open the phone line so that you get to contribute your quota, Kaizu good afia, Yota, Kaiwa good afia, I was a kafia and Ashiata then. Street report continues to unfold. Don't go anywhere, please.
Bread and chips. Nke na-egwepịa ụmụ ndị a niile kpamkpam na-eji nchekwa bụ ọkpọkọpi wee chụọ ụmụ ndị a ọtụtụ elu. Ọ na-achụpụ ha n'ụlọ ọrụ, ụlọ ahụike, ụlọ ọgwụ, ụlọ akwụkwọ, ụlọ akụ, ụlọ oriri na ọṅụṅụ na ebe mgbakọ ọha mmadụ dị iche. Na-ewerekwa isi ọma pine fresh chọọ ebe ndị a mma maka ikuru ume ndụ. Digital pine fresh antiseptic anaghị enye akpụkpọ ahụ anyị mmekpa ahụ, mana ọ na-egwepịa nje ndị ọzọ. Digital Pine Fresh anaghị aga n'ọnụ. Aka ọrụ ya na-echụpụ nje ụkwa. Digital Pine Fresh nwekwara nkwado ndị mbụmụ nwere ike inweta ya n'ebe a na-ere ọgwụ ma n'ụlọ ahịa ndị ọzọ. Maka isoro kesaa Digital Pine Fresh Antiseptic, kpọọ akara ekwentị 0703 924 6169. Digital Pine Fresh Antiseptic maka nchekwa zuru ezu n'aka ụmụ ndị
Yeah, that's right. Remember that you're still tuned to Ebona at the 103.5 FM. And this is Street Report, and this is how it is unfolding on this particular edition. And we are talking about disaster, flooding, is the number one thing we are talking about. We're also looking at fire disaster, how we can prevent it on time before it starts happening. Being that we are in ember month when, it is always the story most times. Am I going to agba knockout? Enwe ka agba ofu ebe, and by then enwe ike ogula salgo ọkụ maka emebe. So how can it be prevented? Knockout is just one. We have a whole lot of things that could cause, fire disaster. But majorly, the first thing we are looking at today is flood. This flooding issue is so important that a call was made, for the presidential candidates to call off their campaign and go and help the victims of flooding in Nigeria. Only one person, only one presidential candidate listened and did something about it, really. So, as of yesterday, there was a visit at Benue State, communities affected in Benue State, which is commendable. But my question today is, can flood disaster, can it be avoided anyway? Avoid I not have suggestion as I got dam or I got along I dredge river and the rest of them. On case in May heading a flood, is there a way, that we can prevent it before it starts happening? No gonna I get my phone lines, ka no contribute to, but let me break it down. We are talking about I know flood na ravage in Nigeria. Anambra abroad the only place home. I ain't bunding on Anambra ya fugo nkene mena Anambra for home the kind of damages on our course. Other states as well, like Benue, na fuku the same thing. I wanna being that na ya go can I suggest to see dredge river and ihe ndị ọzọ a na-ekwugasị si mee onwelo ka e esi prevent nwe ya on time ka flood ghara affect ka anyị na-ekwu dị maka ya ka a na-ekwu na na ọbụla sọsọ dam dị na Cameroon because basically most people na that na-akpọpekwa na dam dị na Cameroon flood eju everywhere but a na-akọwa na ọbụla na even na mmiri a na-esi na Cameroon ada contribute dị as much as ka nke na-ezolo onwe ezo nke Chineke ji aka ya wee gozie anyị wit ịghọta oyiyi a na-akọwa na ọbụla otu aha anyị si loo ya ka o si dị so mana kịta ọkwa ngozi Chukwu ka mmiri a bụ dịla anyị ọnụ nwelọ ka anyị ga-esi direct ya dozie ya ka ọ dịla anyị na mmadụ mmiri a bịakwute anyị ọbụla ngozi Chukwu adịla anyị ọma mbụ ife ga devastate our society our environment really onwe ka esi control ya iche ya bụ the question anyị na-ajụ taa na this particular edition of Street Report on ebe ọ na-adị 103.5 FM. Yes, we heard Governor Ifeanyi Okowa suggest dredging of rivers. He suggested this to the federal government, but we have heard a lot, of people blame dams of Cameroon. But the Minister of Water Resources is saying that the water God blesses us with contributes more to the flooding, more than the dam in Cameroon. Now, this is how he said it. The Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, has said 80% of the floods in Nigeria are caused by rainfall and not Cameroon's Ladog Dam. Ladog Dam, as widely believed. That particular dam now, it is believed that dam is contributes more to the flooding that comes to Nigeria. The minister speaking in Abuja on Wednesday said that all these stories, that appears on social media are laughable, because they are misleading. He said that the contribution of Lado Dam to the flooding in this country is only 1%. Sometimes they release the water without notice, and when they do that, it has impact on on communities downstream. But it is not the main reason we have floods in this country. That's what he's saying. He said 80% of the floods in this country is water that we are blessed with from God, from the sky. You got to go? On a onye blessing aha bụrụkwazie ihe dịka cause dị ya kwalia. And I think that blessing, if there might be a way to control ya or they better. Now, he went further to, tell us exactly what happens between him and the Cameroonians. This year's flood, I can assure you, we cannot blame it on Cameroon, to be sincere. We will continue to have floods on the River Niger and Benue basins. We signed a memorandum of understanding with Cameroonian authorities, but since then, every year, it is the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency that calls them, what is your level in Lado? Even this one, when he called them, they communicated with the Cameroonian about, they will say they will inform them, but 24 hours after, they will release water without even informing anybody. Then when the water is now going, they will now start informing you that they will release it too. That's what transpired. But with all of that, the minister is also telling us that water contributes only 1% to the flooding in Nigeria. Do you accept this thing the minister is saying? Now, the question remains, is there something we are doing wrong? US